So I'm back with another video. We'll call this part 3 of my real life superpowers series as I try and get big enough to get the attention of people who can help me get this researched. I'm here with my 3D coffee is what they call it in my head. It's coffee with the right amount of cream and sugar. 3D coffee, bitter, creamy, sugary. This one's a little more bitter. Very good. Yum yum. We're here. So, yeah, I guess I didn't really know what I was going to do for this one, but it seems like it's kind of just best to use it to talk about mostly what I see, and I guess the theories that have come from both my psychosis and subsequent, schizophrenia, manageable schizophrenia that I've continued to live with in the years following. So, yeah, like I said in previous videos, I use it for doing scenarios. Obviously I'd love to be better educated on what we actually have on our planet, so I can do better in helping people. I'd love to know about things like this most recent Nobel Prize in Physics for quantum entanglement, have a better grasp on the particle entanglement and things like that. I'd love to have a better grasp on even things like, the astronomical physics. I think that would be really cool. But ultimately what it comes down to is I have what I have. I can teach what I can teach, and it's still very beneficial to people. I have a decent understanding of, psychology, and that's very helpful for, it's almost like we kind of just sit there and talk about how bad things could potentially get, right? How bad or good things could potentially get if things are weird, right? Just looking at things, in a balanced, volumetric way. If things are weird, right? It's more like, parsing it out for, the entire standing population, which includes what, children, teenagers. People aren't going to have as great of processing skills as, adults who are listening for information and to interpret things properly. So, yeah, it's basically like, like those word problems you'd get in like elementary school and middle school, where they'd be like, you're stranded on an island and you have you can bring 3 things with you. What do you bring? Those are the kind of situations I do in my head. I don't know why it's what I'm so obsessed with, but I feel like it's gonna pay off in the end. I feel like if the people are real, I've done a lot of help, because it's like there's no telling really. We have no idea. We only have signs pointing to the multiverse at this point on our planet. We don't have anything really pointing away from it other than people's apprehension to just let it be the most probable social dynamic for existence. We don't really have anything pointing away from it as far as I've seen. So I'd like to think that I'm helping people. Obviously, I have already thought about the fact that, there are people who will just come in for like one word of what I say. They'll hear like this, and they'll just hear this, and then they'll see like a bomb, and they'll be like this, oh no, and then they'll have a panic attack, and the bomb will explode, and it's just like all I did was just make them freak out harder. It's like that's ultimately what we would all be doing then. It's ultimately what we would all be doing. And I mean, if the scope of the place that I observe is real, then essentially we would all be streamers. Is ultimately what the tangential logic that I just connected there that I want to talk about. Yeah, we would all essentially be in the same position I'm in. I'm just the only one of us that can talk to these people, is technically what it would be then. We're essentially streamers, which is cool, right? Now, for some people, they want to be really private. Kind of sucks, right? Oops. I guess we're just smarter than that. But, yeah. So, I talk about basically, like, yeah, those word problem type scenarios, stranded on an island kind of shit, stranded in a white space. It's like, here's a good one. Where do you poop? I go, figure out how big it is, find a poop corner. You know, if you're alone, there's your toilet paper. You can sit around naked. It doesn't really matter. And clothes, well, I mean, you might want to keep the clothes. See, you get it? You might want to keep the clothes because it might get cold somehow. You might want as much clothes as you can have. So poop corner, poopy butt. You're playing poopy butt time. Poopy butt, wipe your hand on the ground if you can. If it's any absorbent, has any absorbency or, you know, friction that you can get it to wipe with. You know, that kind of stuff. If it sounds any more believable now. Yeah. It's like, so, it's like, honestly, it's a very, very stressful life, but it's like, what do you do when you get, like, you randomly get invasive thoughts of people getting held up at gunpoint? You try and help them, right? You know, that's just what you do. It's like, that's why I'm saying it's like real life superpowers, basically. That's why when I originally labeled the first video, I compared it to the Professor Xavier's Cerebro machine from the X-Men, where he can talk to all the mutants through his telepathy. That's basically what I do with it. If it's real. If it's real. If not, who knows what I'm building? It's very good. It's very, very good. So, anyways, so it's one of these cool things. So ultimately, where this schizophrenia has led me to is it's really led me to believe that this entire existence that we're in is you know, and obviously this sounds like a dull statement, like I'm not completely educated or something, but bear with me through the first statement. It's like this is a completely mental experience, what we're having. It's completely mental perspective that we're experiencing. And I know, yes, neurology begets that, but no, I think mental precedes neurology. I think this is very much a mental circumstance, and that we're kind of just like almost like stuck on a page, and that's how we're in this sliver of reality that's so like minorly variable. It's like it only changes if we pick something up and move it, you know? It's like, think about what like an average life would be like in the multiverse for a second. It's like they would just be walking and the place would just be flickering around them or something. They'd be at the Taj Mahal, and then the Great Pyramids, and then Mount Everest, and then yada, yada, yada. They'd just be flickering through a place like flipping through a flip book. That's what the normal life would be like if everything was randomized to the same causal, you know, the same causal logic that we try and apply to our own world as to why, you know, as to how, I should say, how matter arranged and how consciousness came to be. It's like, well, under that same sort of logical predicament, it's like, well, we should just kind of be flickering through states. We should just be like Ditto from fucking Pokemon or something like that. We should just be like, you know, we should just be a weird blob. We should just, so it's like, so I also have, interestingly enough, gotten to a point where I've accepted the possibility of this very much being an experience-based life that we're having, because I had so many, let me start by saying this. I was an atheist as a kid. By 12 years old, I was a hardcore atheist. I thought we shut off when we die. I thought we hit the power off button, and it was just, you know, like that blissful oblivion, just like going to sleep at night. You just go to sleep, right? So, like I said in the first video, I had my experience with drug use and shit, and it ultimately opened my eyes to the fact that, man, this shit just gets weirder. There's very potentially a weirder existence here. So I became slightly spiritual, is what I'd say, mostly psychological, but slightly spiritual. I believe there could potentially be some like orgiastic afterlife where we just break up into like geometry and just become manifold existence or some shit like that. But ultimately, what I've come to after the psychosis that I had, which took me to a environment similar to like the Silent Hill video games and movies, and then having the years to talk about various scenarios and shit, I've just come to the conclusion that it's very possible that we're just here for a storybook conclusion to some sort of broad experience that we're having. That could be the logic. It could very much just be that we're here for an experience. Because I know I'm not the only one on this planet, just by the way that people look at each other when you bring up a weird experience that you had. I'm not the only one here who's had weird timings, weird imagery and shit like that occur in their life. There's other people here like that. So, really honestly consider the fact that we might be here. It's a slightly extended logic. It's not that much to just be here to have, for example, a hard life, a sad life, a this life, a that life, you know? So you really have to consider that this is a really interesting situation we found ourselves in. And a lot of what we're experiencing, quote unquote, what we're indirectly experiencing, has nothing to do with us. We're here for mostly narrative. Look at how big libraries are. We're here for mostly narrative. We're here to mostly analyze other circumstances. It's really interesting, right? And it's almost like there's an illusion of choice, but there's pretty much, in most situations, I feel like a lot of us, there's nothing else we would pick. Kind of like your first job, your first love kind of shit. There's nothing else you really would pick, you know? So really, there's a lot of interesting things to consider. So, just to show people who might be here for the first time what my real life superpower is, I can talk to pretty much any character frame that my big old brain can imagine. It's like any old friend that I had, a caricature of them, like family. I can even talk to my pet dog who knows English. It's very funny. Sometimes I'll just watch her walk around to like the metal music that I listen to, and I'll just be like, yeah. She'll be dun 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 dun, and she's just walking. She's like 8 pounds. She's a little Yorkie dog. She's just like walking around. It's like dun 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 But, yeah. So it's like, yeah. As for actually being able to read people's thoughts, though, where it would be useful, no, it's just a really creative brain. So I can show you how it works, because I can talk it out through my mouth as it's coming through my head. It basically goes like this. Like, let's talk to my coffee. I'm really hot. Yeah, I know. No, like the good one. Which one? It's like, yeah, that was a good one. See, everything's really, really snappy here. Everything's really, really witty, I should say. The good one, you know? It's, yeah. Obviously, the way I've gotten it so fluid is because I've been practicing it since 2016. I got it around the beginning of my psychosis. And since then, I've just been kind of practicing keeping the fluidity of talking it out through my mouth. And, yeah, it's worked out pretty well so far. It's a very interesting life that I'm leading here. Like I said in the previous video, in pretty much all of these, I'm going to say, please share this with everyone you know. I'm trying to get researched. I'm trying to be a science experiment. I want to know what's going on in my head. I also have other stuff to share with the scientific community, like math that we don't have. I have something for psychology that we can work out. I mean, it would probably work into programming as well. I have stuff to share with the world, and I can't get out of, honestly, my parents' house. I can't get out of their house. I'm 27. I went through disability. I was not fit to do it while I was psychotic, and that's when I was the most motivated to try and move it through the world. It was when I was completely psychotic. And now I'm just trying to do it carefully. I have my YouTube channel. I have 400,000 views. I'm like, might as well start now, right? At least I have a steady viewership of a few hundred who will look me in the face and be like, okay, you have something going on, right? So it's really interesting, right? I have things to share. I really want to get this world going, because this is one of those interesting places in life where, you know, like I'm talking about this era of Earth where the scales could tip in either direction. Things could get really good or really bad, guys. And it's like, I'm here to bring really good. I'm here to bring really good. Please help me get out there. Please share. Subscribe if you think that is the only way you can help. Subscribe to my channel. Share my video. Like my video. Get it into the algorithm. Just get my video up on YouTube. Push it through the system, please. Thank you. I will be back with another one probably tomorrow. See you guys later.